Greetings, hi, and hello everyone. My name is Jason Petitfrère. I'm a speaker, I'm a podcaster, and my life's work is centered around allowing the world to meet the true you by helping you think, speak, and eventually live better than yesterday. We do this first by establishing a good reason why, a strong and powerful motivation to keep going when the going gets rough. Second, we need awareness and acknowledgement of what's holding us back. And third, we need scalable steps forward as a reliable bridge between who we are right now and who we need to be tomorrow and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. This, my friends, is how you go from stuck to thinking as, speaking as, and living as the true you.
Oh, man. Well, here we are. Welcome again, and thanks for joining me for yet another late recorded episode. It's been quite the crazy week, and at some point in a more long-form version of this podcast, I'll have the luxury and the peace of mind to share with you all the different things happening in my life personally, and, you know, why I'm in, you know, these sorts of positions, or even future plans and this and that and the other. But for right now, I'd like to simply keep it as just short and sweet content that anybody can enjoy. The long form stuff is more so for the ride or dies, or the, you know, genuinely interested in that sort of stuff in the future. So, going back to the original plan, today, I just want to talk to you ever so briefly about a form of not only goal setting, but goal achieving. I want to talk to you about 3 simple points, 3 simple ways, 3 simple steps or keys or nuggets that if you follow this ABC 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, which I still think is pretty good, you will be better the next day than you were the day before. And it's really, really simple. I'll expand on all of them as we go on, but I'll just give you all 3 right now. First, figure out what you want. And it's got to really be something that you want. A goal, an achievement, a place, a thing, whatever, a characteristic that you're trying to develop. It has to be something that you yourself actually desire. That's number 1. Desire. What do you want? Here's number 2, or B. Figure out. This takes research, intentionality, and time. Figure out who are the types of people that get letter A, or that get number 1. Who are the types of people that have in their circle or in their possession or in their lives or a part of their character or personality that thing that you want? Who are those types of people? Define them, characterize them, whatever. Locate them, find examples. That's also really key. If you can find some examples, the closer to your life, the better. But, you know, obviously online and, you know, whether dead or alive, mentors are useful. And then lastly, C. Become that person. It's no major revelation that's just gonna absolutely blow your mind, but I'll bet you the results will. If you follow these steps. It's simple, but it's not easy, which is going to be a trend with this podcast. I will have to warn you of that. A lot of this will be simple and relatively straightforward, and when it's not, I am the type to sometimes ramble anyway, so I run the risk of over-explaining things. So you don't have to worry about me not covering something, really, more often than not. So, yeah, I don't want to, I'm sorry. Still working on the whole maintain a positive, a proper flow sort of thing. But let me go back and break down each of those points one by one, and then we'll wrap up with a key quote or thought. So, numero un, find out what you want. Why is this so important? It's because if you just adopt an arbitrary goal that's been passed down to you from generation to generation, or if you just walk into a classroom and adopt the goal of, I want to get an A, and that's it, that's all that's behind that shell of a desire, it'll take either just incredible innate skill or a ridiculous amount of luck for you to end up with an A in that class. Just saying you want the A isn't enough. Excuse me. Having something that you desire, that you want to achieve, but then genuinely digging deep within yourself to feed that desire. And here's how you do it, by the way. Ask yourself, okay, you want this thing? Why? You want to go to this place? Why? Oh, well, because I think it'd be really cool. Why? Why do you think it'd be really cool? Well, I think it'd be really cool because I've never been out of the country. Why? Why have you never been out of the country? Okay, well, I've never been out of the country because my family, and these are all just, random examples here, but I've never been out of the country because my family has not been that well off growing up. So, we never really traveled much. Why? And it's as deep as you really need to go to find where, for you personally, that quote unquote desire switch is flipped. Just keep asking yourself why until you reach that layer of the onion that really starts gets the tear ducts going, if that makes sense. All right. And so once you find that place, that true why, that TRU why, if you will, that's what you need to keep going back to every single day to rekindle and to refeed that desire. Keep that desire alive. I promise you, I assure you, as much as I can, as a person giving you advice through your ear holes right now, I assure you that if you find that trigger point, that thing several layers up on the surface that you actually want, that place that you want to get to, that goal that you want to achieve, that location that you want to visit, you are going to have that much deeper, you're going to end up with a much more deeply rooted hunger and thirst after that thing, or after that place, or after that person, or after that characteristic, whatever it is. And that is going to set you apart from anybody else who's just sitting at the surface saying, oh, it'd be cool to have this. It'd be cool to check out this location. It'd be cool to be someone like that. You're going to blow those people out of the water. Think about someone like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant if you're into sports at all. Or any politician that you respect, or any sort of teacher that you respect, or a singer that you respect, or an author that you respect. If they got to a place of notoriety and being famous or known for being excellent, I can almost assure you that in every case they had a deep-rooted hunger that was born from a place of major lack, or a place of just ultimately it comes from some form of lack. You don't go after something that hard or that intensely if you have everything that you need already. It's because something is missing that you go looking for that thing. So it is ultimately, to a certain degree, flack. Bear with me. Everything is nuanced. I don't like throwing out blanket statements, but for the purposes of this explanation, it's coming from a place of lack. Okay? So, moving on to breaking down number 2, which is find out the people who have or who typically get or have access to what it is you want or where it is you want to go. Let's stick with the location motif so that all of this is easier to follow. If I am trying to go out of the country, let's say I want to visit do we want to go Hawaii? It's a little expensive. Yeah, let's just say Hawaii. All right. I'm in mainland USA. I want to visit Hawaii someday. I want to, soak up the sun on the beaches of Honolulu. I pray that that's a place in Hawaii. I'm pretty sure it is. Anyway, if that is my goal and I desire that, I want that. Why? Because I've always, for some reason, latched on to the name Hawaii when I heard it one time during a family road trip, and it just, my dad started talking about how he never got to go on a Hawaii work trip because he never got like this major achievement that the work would have sent him on that trip, and blah 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 blah. And you just loved how your dad lit up when he was talking about the beaches and the pineapples and the food and the barbecue. That Hawaii just got deeply rooted into your mind. And so you want Hawaii, which is okay. That's totally fine. Why? Because it reminds you of family. And because you want to take your family there. Why? Do number 1. Number 2, who are the types of people that go to Hawaii or that have access to the choice of being able to go to Hawaii? Well, a large part of that is the money, the funds. If you want to go to Hawaii worry-free, you got to have the funds for the ticket, as in the plane ticket, or the cruise, whichever. I don't know how you're trying to get there, or submarine if you're in the military. Don't go that route, by the way, for leisure. So the types of people that get there are the types of people that can afford to get there. That's just the plain and simple of this particular example. And so finances is going to be the main focus. Are you the type of person that's financially stable or financially savvy enough that you're able to pull off a Hawaii trip and not have it be detrimental to your bank account? If not, then you need to research people that are. People in your circle are best because they're closest to you and you can pick their brains, ask them questions. Pro tip, whenever you are picking, quote unquote, picking somebody's brain, by the way, try and find some way to add value to their lives so that you're not just walking around, gimme. Find some way to serve that person. And if you can't, and you can't think of anything, ask them, is there anything that I can personally help you with to make your life easier in some way, shape, or form? Because I'd like to ask you some questions, but I'm absolutely not about to ask you for a favor like that and draw on your time and give you nothing. Let me buy you lunch. Let me, get you some coffee sometime or something like that, completely on me. I just want 20 minutes with you or 30 minutes with you. And the higher level that person is, the more expensive their time. And so I'm about to go on another tangent. Ultimately, the point is, if it's in your circle, just gauge how high that person is as far as achievement wise and treat it with appropriate respect and decorum. All right, as far as what it's going to cost you, because it's going to cost you something. If not money, then it's going to cost you sweat equity and your time. But do not go to that person, say that you heard on the TRU-U podcast that I'm supposed to come nag you, but then not serve them in some way, shape, or form. We don't do that here. It's not, this life ain't free. We all know that. So let's be proper. Okay. So find that person, research that person, categorize that person or those people. And then that brings us to number 3. Become that person. So if you find a person and you know that the person that you need to become is more financially stable and more financially savvy than you currently are in order to do A, which is get to Hawaii, then C involves learning how to be more financially savvy, learning what money mistakes to avoid, learning what money best practices to make as far as like investments or long-term planning, whatever it is. It's all just figuring out, what do they do? Okay, I'll do that. In my own way sometimes. You may have to adjust for your personality. You may have to adjust for your lifestyle. You certainly don't have the lifestyle that those people already have. Therefore, you're going to have to adjust for where you are at currently. But in some way, shape, or form, whatever you are learning about that person or those people and whatever you are doing to become like them absolutely needs to stretch you and it needs to change you in some way, shape, or form. Because I will tell you right now that there is absolutely zero way that you can become who you need to be by staying who you are. I will say that again for the boys and the girls in the back. You cannot become who you need to be by staying who you currently are. It doesn't work that way. It's as simple as that. So, hopefully that makes sense. I did my best as far as making this super clear. Not the most concise, so let me summarize it one more time for you. You gotta, number 1, find out what you want, and it's gotta be what you really want, not what somebody told you want or should want. It needs to be what you. What's your name? Say the name. What does so-and-so want? As in, for me, what does Jason really want in this situation? Or what does Jason really want in this area? And once you find an answer, ask yourself why about 3, 4, 5 layers deep, whatever it is, until you feel something pull on your heart. And then once you've done that, at that point, it's time to move on to number 2. Who has that? Who is that? Who's gone there? Okay, those are the types of people I'm looking for. Got it. Number 3, how do I become the type of person, that gets that? The type of person that goes there. How do I become the type of Why is this tripping me up right now? How do I become the type of person that acts like that or that speaks like that? And then once you find those steps, again, actionable steps, scalable steps that you can either increase or decrease, but something measurable, something measurable that every week you can look back on the past 7 days and say, okay, did I do this on this day? And did I do this for the rest of the days? How much of it did I do? What is my measure of success? If the answer is yes to all those questions, then I have been successful. Don't make it unrealistic, but don't make it too easy either. You need to find out what that balance is for you. And once you do, you're in the sweet spot of growth. Hear me, it's gonna be uncomfortable. That's a given. You should know that going in. But it's going to be so worth it. Because after you've become the kind of person that has those things, or that goes those places, or that acts that way, then guess what? You attract that thing. You attract those places. You attract other people like that. And suddenly your life is inundated, as in full or overflowing, with the very thing, the very number one that you wanted so deeply. You achieve it. And then you just, move the finish line. Or you start the next race. And just like that, you've made a literal habit out of getting things that you want, or going places that you want to go. It's as simple as that. It's not complicated, but it is difficult. I've said that enough, so let me move on to a quote by Maya, I believe she's a doctor, Dr. Maya Angelou. She said, and this is for any of you right now who don't know where to start. Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. Is anybody else detecting any sort of crazy, deep, not easily understood secret here? Because I'm not. It's pretty simple. I will read it again. Dr. Maya Angelou said, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. So for those of you high achievers out there, like myself sometimes, who are constantly, like, after you finish something, just kicking yourself in the butt, thinking over and over, why didn't I do better? Why didn't I do better? Why didn't I do better? Hear me, there's a place for that sometimes, but there's a certain degree of doing that and being hard on yourself to where you just need to literally take a step back, chill, relax, and realize that to a certain degree, give yourself some grace, to a certain degree, you didn't know any better. If that is actually true, then please give yourself the benefit of the doubt and admit that. If there was no way that you could have known better until after you made the mistake, then ta-da, you just learned better. And therefore you can now do better the next time. Does that make sense? And so in pursuing your goals, the worst thing you can do is enter this race with unrealistic standards. And for those of you right now wondering, okay, how do I know whether or not my standards are realistic versus not? That's where community comes in. That's where network comes in. That's where a good, healthy mentor comes in. And if you don't have a mentor, ask a friend that you know gives decent advice. Ask them, this is my standard for myself here. Is that going too far? Or is that too much? Or is that too harsh? Because you won't know for yourself unless you just have a really great sense of self-awareness. And even then, it's hard to maintain that when you're a rookie. And for context, I myself, in many areas of self-awareness, am still somewhat of a rookie. So I need people around me to tell me things that I cannot see about myself, including when I'm being too hard on myself. It's just an example of how you can do better once you know to do better. And of course, I wanted to simply equip you with that because this is something that you're going to need in this journey of pursuing things, of pursuing locations, of pursuing personality types or traits that you want to earn and integrate into your own. Just this whole race of better. It involves success, yes, and it also involves failure. And so your standards going in are very important in making sure that you have a healthy relationship with both success and failure because, friends, you need both. And oftentimes, you learn more from failure than you do from success. So embrace both. Hold the tension of both, because you're going to need both to truly, truly think as, speak as, and eventually live as the true you. Thanks for listening.
Hi friends, Jason here. I want to thank you again for your time investment of listening till the end. It seriously means a lot, and I would further appreciate knowing what you think about the show through either the like button or your own comments and DMs about what impacted you the most in this particular episode or in any other. The point is, I don't want you to be shy about taking the step to communicate all that. Lastly, I invite you to stay connected to this life-giving community by following or subscribing on whichever platform you prefer to watch or listen. You'll also find more nuggets of gold sprinkled here and there by looking up @JasonPF_TRU-U on all socials. Again, that's JASONPF_TRU-U. Let's learn to think, speak, and live as our true selves together.